Over the past few years, I've invested in a lot of things. Stocks, crypto, courses, you name it. But out of everything, there's one investment that netted me over a 300x return. And the crazy part, it's something you would never guess. This magical investment that I'm talking about is none other than a whiteboard. And you might be thinking, what the fuck is this guy talking about? How has a whiteboard made him over 300x returns on his money? Let me take you back to about a year ago. At the time, I had big goals and aspirations, just like you probably did. But the problem was I wasn't hitting them. I'd set resolutions, get pumped for a few weeks, and then lose track. In my mind, I labeled myself as inconsistent or lazy, but that was far from the truth. The real issue I was facing was I had nothing to keep me on track. No one to hold my hand and keep me accountable, no outside guidance, and most importantly, no way to track my progress. It's very likely that you've set yourself a goal. Maybe that's to save enough money to buy the car that you want, or work out until you get a six-pack. But every time you set these goals, about a month later, you lose sight of it as if it never existed. There's probably been many times that this has happened to you. And if that is true, then watching the next 5 minutes of this video might just change your life. The science of habit tracking. Studies have shown that people who track their habits and goals are much more likely to succeed. That's because visual reminders do exactly what the name suggests. They remind you to stay on track, as opposed to just forgetting all about it. Because as we all know, life can get very chaotic, and sometimes meditating, reading, and working out are just not top priorities for that day. But the fact of the matter is, many people struggle to keep their word, especially when it comes to improving themselves. We all know the cliche on New Year's when people say, I'm gonna quit drinking, or this year is my year. And by about February, their goals have just seemingly disappeared. The number one reason that people do this so often is because people lack accountability. And I used to be one of those people, undisciplined, unmotivated, and unaccountable for my own actions. But now what I do is very simple. I break my goals down into daily habits. Every day, I take a look at this whiteboard filled with habits that'll bring me closer to my goals. And if I do them, then I tick it. And if I don't, then I cross it. I don't think it can get any simpler than that. Yet this one thing has changed my life. Now, let's talk about the numbers. I bought this whiteboard for about $30. And over the past year, by staying consistent with my habits, I've earned around $5,000 to $10,000. That's over a 300x return. And I'm just some random 17-year-old kid. Imagine what you could do if you already had a business, or if you did this for a longer period of time. One of the key principles that I've learned since tracking my habits is the 80-20 rule. It states that 80% of your results come from just 20% of your efforts. Think about your day-to-day life. If you look at everything you do, you'll probably find that a small amount of actions contributes to a large amount of results within your life. Maybe it's that one productive hour in the morning, or that one business task that drives the majority of your revenue. When I started using the whiteboard to track my habits, I noticed something interesting. I noticed that there were a few habits that were contributing to majority of my success. For me, it was things like outreach, planning my week, and working out consistently. When I focused on these habits and made sure to do them every day, I saw massive results. So one of the best ways to apply the 80-20 rule is finding out what habits contribute the most to your success and doubling down on them. I challenge you to look at your goals and ask yourself, what 20% of my actions are contributing to 80% of my results? And once you figure that out, make sure that those are the habits that you are prioritizing. Another game changer for me has been taking time to reflect on my progress. It's so easy to get caught up into the day-to-day grind that you don't even realize how far you've come. But the truth is, reflection is one of the most powerful ways to grow. I make it a point every week to look back at my previous week and see what things went well and what things didn't. And this is also why one of my habits is to journal, because it gives me time to self-reflect. Sometimes it's so easy to get discouraged if you don't see immediate results. But if you take a step back, you'll see the little wins and you'll see the progress and how far you've come. For example, I didn't close a huge deal this week, but I did reach out to 10 potential clients, and that lays the groundwork for future success. Those little efforts add up, I promise you. So when you reflect on your progress, you start to see little patterns. Maybe you've been consistent with 3 of 5 of your habits, but the other 2 are slipping. That's okay, because this constant cycle of reflection and adjustment is where the true growth happens. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Consistency beats motivation every single time. Motivation is a great thing when you have it, but the truth is, it's not always there. Some days at 3 a.m. motivation kicks in and you're ready to change your life. And then other days, you don't want to do anything. But that's where consistency and discipline comes in, because no matter how you feel, you will do it. There's been plenty of days where I was not motivated at all. Like today is probably one of them. Maybe I was tired, distracted, on my phone, or just wasn't feeling it. It happens to all of us. we're human. But thanks to the systems that I've set up for myself, I was able to push through it. Because when you track your habits every day, it's less about feeling motivated and more about just doing it. And the beautiful thing about consistency is it compounds over time. Imagine you did something small every day, reading for 30 minutes, reaching out to one client, and working out, no matter how you feel. Even if you're at 50% on some days, over the weeks, months, and years, that will compound and add up to something amazing. It's not about doing everything perfectly, it's about showing up and getting it done. So here's what I want you to take away from this video. Don't rely on motivation. Rely on systems and consistency. When you've got a whiteboard or some other visual habit tracker holding you accountable, you don't need to feel motivated because you've built up a system. You just have to show up day after day, tick off what you've done, cross what you haven't, and the results will pile up. Just before concluding this video, I want to say that 99% of people have $30 laying around, no matter how old you are or where you live. I urge you to take that money and buy a whiteboard right now, because I promise you, it will change your life. I'm currently in the process of manufacturing and designing my own habit tracker, so hopefully you'll see it within the next few months. So definitely stay on the lookout for that. Thanks for watching this video. I really hope you take on the advice that I've given. See you next time. Peace.